What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Bob Arum. Bob Arum is enraged with what Eddie Hearn said about him being two-faced. On top of Eddie Hearn said that Bob Arum was out of touch with his current or recent audience. You know, that was really a side note on what this video was about that I saw. It was from IFL TV. Bob Arum, first of all, said, well, you know, the youth in our country know that Mexican Americans are being treated wrong, okay? Because that's what he was addressing, that Eddie Hearn was talking about or criticizing. But what I want to really talk about is the fact that Tyson Fury and Otto Wallin fought a good fight, and they were asking him how he felt, and he was like, why don't y'all give Otto Wallin some fucking credit? You know, he put up a good fight. The fight could have been stopped due to cuts, and then therefore he was pretty nervous about that, because if he lost this fight, there wouldn't be no Wilder fight, would it? There wouldn't be any of that fight. And then Deontay Wilder could fight like he wants. Now all of a sudden, the winner out of Joshua Ruiz. So yeah, it was pretty nerve-wracking for Bob. I think honestly, Bob was more concerned with the idea of Tyson Fury losing, simply because he knew what was on the line. He knew what was at stake. So, and he also had this to say about Al Heyman. He said, I don't know why the hell Al Heyman is putting Deontay Wilder in there with someone as dangerous as Luis Ortiz. And he said it himself. The heavyweights division, these are big son of a bitches. Anything could happen in this sport. So I don't see why he is putting Wilder in there with Ortiz. Well, that's really not a good question to be asking, because you convey that the only reason you put Otto Wallin in there, right? You tried to justify this guy with this fight, before this fight, and of course after this fight. But then yet you criticize Al Heyman for putting Wilder in with Ortiz. You know, so was he supposed to get an easy touch? Like, I guess we now can assume that Otto Wallin was supposed to be, right? Because that's the only thing we can gather from that. Like, why would you come at Al Heyman about making an Ortiz versus Wilder fight, and then you fight someone that we never heard of? You know, he's not anywhere on the radar. He was never anywhere on the radar. He was just a guy on BoxRec. So actually, that kind of makes Bob look like he was making this fight, or you know, cherry picking this fight only to see Tyson Fury have a good win. And he went 12 fucking rounds with this guy, you know. But I think Al Heyman seen a decent fight from Ortiz and Wilder. That's why I think he chose that fight. He knew what was at stake. He looked at the odds. He seen Deontay Wilder beat him before. Why not run it back again, since it was the most exciting fight in that March period? It was better than Parker Joshua. You see what I mean? That fight was a chess match style fight. This fight, when you had people hurt, you had Ortiz down, 3 times, 4 times, right? And it was fireworks. So it was a very entertaining fight. So Al Heyman was like, hey, I'm going to run this shit back. And he did that because he is the boss. He's in control of everything. Not Wilder, not Wilder's team. Wilder's team is Al Heyman, right? He's the boss of his team. But yeah, but back to Bob, I don't see why Bob was just so pissed. I think he was more scared or nervous. Just nerve-wracking than anything to make him go off like, who the fuck is he talking about, Eddie Hearn? Who the fuck is he saying? I'm not in touch with the youth. He was pissed off. you know. And, you know, I think Bob is relieved, but kind of still nerved up, you know. But yeah, to ask a question like that about Deontay Wilder fighting Luis Ortiz, I don't think that's something he should be worried about. And it really just made him look like the cherry pick at the end of the day. But anyway, guys, I'm going to start this live stream talking about this fight in depth. You guys tell me what you think about Bob Arum's statements. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.